and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a Yellowstone review. This is by all means not a deep dive. I'm not going in like season by season. I have just completed the show, so there will be spoilers amongst the review. But just I want to go through basically my vibe. Did I enjoy it? Would I recommend it? Is it something that I would rewatch again down the line? Because that's the true test. Is it something that I would rewatch, like, you know, Grey's, Friends, Dexter? Do you know what I mean? Like, has it reached that level? Anyway, so jumping into it. Overall, the premise of Yellowstone is essentially a ranch in Montana that is constantly under siege, and everyone is essentially wanting to buy it and develop it or turn it into a big complex of things that basically we're meant to hate. And I agree, you're on their side to an extent. In season 1, it does kind of portray him as a bit of like a gangstery-esque ranch cowboy-esque vibe, which is fun and intriguing, but I do think sometimes throughout the show that does waver slightly. It doesn't stay super consistent in theme or what it's going after. That being said, overall I enjoyed it. I probably would rewatch it. It might take a few years before I go back to it, but I do think I might rewatch it down the line. But do I think it's particularly consistent? Not particularly, but then again, I like Dexter. That's not very consistent. So jumping into it, we've got Kevin Costner's character, which is John Dutton, the patriarch of the family, the Dutton family that own this ranch. I think he was a great choice for casting. I remember like Bodyguard and all that. I say remember vaguely. I was a very, very small child when my mum had the video. I don't think I was born for Bodyguard. I think that was the 80s. Anyway, he kind of has that like generational kind of male generational kind of vibe to him that kind of just makes so much sense for that character. And obviously he's a great actor. We've got, I want to say Lee. Spoiler, he does die in the first episode, so the main thing I know him from is Justin in Brothers and Sisters. He was great in that. Bit gutted he did die in this, but you know. I think he's the eldest brother. Then we go to, I don't know the age order, to be fair, but then we're going to jump to Beth. Beth is a complex character. She's very much like Marmite from what I can gather on the internet world. I like her for the most part. She does get on my nerves at times. She can get a bit irritating. Only in the sense that I feel like she, for the most part, can do the strong character. This is no criticism to the actress, because I think she plays it really well. I just think sometimes the material can be very inconsistent. And it's like, in the final season, for example, in the final episode, her big, massive master plan to finally get Jamie's revenge against Jamie is to get beaten up loads and hope her husband comes to save her just in time. Like, nothing against husband comes to save you. I'm not like, I was here for that. It's just so many things had to go right and go her way for that to work. There was nothing actually planned. It was just kind of go in hot-headed and hope for the best was her plan, which I feel like undermined her character of what they were trying to go for. There is so many better characters and more consistent characters. I do love her, but I just think sometimes the writing didn't do her justice and kind of played more annoying than at times. But again, I do love Beth. Her hubby, Rip, I actually did like him. I did watch videos on this after the fact, on people's takes on the show, and someone had an interesting take and pointed out that he actually doesn't have very much autonomy in the show. He is kind of just their ranch hand, but in the more managerial sense, he manages it, but he doesn't really do anything off his own back. Everything is literally for the Duttons. He only exists for the Duttons once in this. And a good example, obviously you'd say, well, yeah, that he's like their henchman, he's their like bodyguard kind of vibe. You'd say that's kind of the point, but then you can look at a character like Mike in Better Call Saul and his dynamic with Gus and be like, yeah, he is his like bodyguard and his right hand man, but he also has his own motivations, thoughts, feelings, and more dynamic to him. So again, good character, and I do root for him, but I do think there was more depth needed within his character. I am watching the Dutton Ranch, so hopefully that will come in their own show. Moving on to Casey. I really like Casey. I do admit, I think the COVID seasons didn't do him justice, because he was on his own and isolated a lot. For basically a character that just kind of comes out and murders a lot of people. Like, I say murders a lot of people. He just seems to accidentally murder people and then just kind of get away with it. And there's no repercussions for that. He is a good character, and I do enjoy watching him, and I do root for him and his family. Like, he does want to do the right thing. He seems to be, I feel like, again, writing and consistency is going to be a bit of a theme in this review. I think he, on the surface level, was meant to be like an anti-hero to an extent, or like he wants to do good, he wants to make the right choices, but he does have a bit of a dark history that sometimes he just can't escape, and he does understand about doing the dark things to save the ranch. I think that all played very well. I loved the last episode of him and Tom and his idea and how they truly saved the ranch. Great closure, loved it. It was really nice, that ending. I think it made sense. I think they hit all the points they wanted to do in that last season, even though there was drama behind the scenes, with Kevin Costner wanting out, essentially. But I do like that ending. I have seen his spin-off and how they completely shit all over that in one fell swoop in a TV show. Let's basically make Casey's character CSI, basically, or whatever it were. It just doesn't. His spin-off, I was gonna maybe try and attempt. I don't know if I can really stomach it. Nothing draws me in, and it does look like they just ruined any character development that happened in Yellowstone. So I'm not particularly gonna jump into it. Moving on to Jamie. So he's very clearly set up a little bit to be a bit more of like the black sheep of the family and be a point of difference against all these like ranch family-esque vibes. And then obviously it comes out that he's adopted, and they play into that. I feel like sometimes his storyline is not as much planned out, as more reactionary. His back and forth between Beth and, like, I agree why Beth hates him. That is what he did is horrible, but sometimes I feel like that was like the one note they just kind of they stopped once that was revealed. The depth of that wasn't explored too much. Like, I feel like that was meant to be a big revelation, and we explore the repercussions of this, and it finally comes out why she hates him. But from my memory, I feel like it just kind of comes out a little bit, but not loads. Like, it just kind of fizzles out. His bio dad, he kills him, and they get around that, and he dumps the body, and Beth blackmails him, but then it comes out that Beth didn't know about the train station. Like, they're playing like they kind of play the super smart Beth when they want, and then like retcon some stuff when they need to, like, oh no, she wouldn't have known this. No, like, Rip would never have told her at any point about this place, or she wouldn't have known this family tradition for years. It comes back to the whole like reactionary, trying to get all the points they wanted to in that last season, but sometimes it just fell a bit flat. I liked the guys in the bunkhouse. I can't remember loads of their names, but it added nice little world depth. Nice little differences to it. I was motivated, like, I'm not motivated, I was rooting for them and their motivations, and I liked seeing them. And they did try and give a bit of closure to that in the last episode. Speaking of the last episode, I feel like it's trying to conclude a lot in one. There's a lot of different themes going on. They're trying to conclude the Beth and Jamie storyline, which I feel like personally should have been concluded like 2 episodes before or an episode before, and then this last episode could have been the true closure of the ranch. The story was always about protecting the ranch, not necessarily the back and forth between Beth and Jamie. It felt like it gave that a lot more airtime than it needed to conclude it, but then also rushed it. It was still a big story point. Loved how they saved the ranch, loved that. And they all kind of got closure to their stories. I do think Jamie just getting killed but then taken to the train station was kind of a bit. It really tied everything up really nicely for everyone else, but didn't give everyone else much closure on that story point, really. I think it just kind of was an easy out story-wise. So I think overall, I would say Yellowstone is worth a watch. There is a lot of action in it. There's definitely, I think, I want to say the end of season 3, a good action cliffhanger season finale. There's a lot of moments and points that I liked. I just think sometimes it kind of lost its way a little bit. Like in the last season, we've got John becoming a politician when Jamie wants to be a politician, and then they're going to go head to head, but obviously then Kevin Costner wanted out, so they had to kill him off a bit quicker than they probably planned, and it just kind of feels like it was losing its way a little bit, and it was trying to act like it was a Breaking Bad, Peaky Blinders-esque level of TV show, whereas I would say, this is going to sound like a criticism, it's really not, I'd say it's probably like a Grey's Anatomy level. It's enjoyable, there is some really good acting at points, there is some decent moments in the seasons, but if you start looking too closely, do you really think a bunch of surgeons could run the entirety of a hospital? That kind of thing. Like, you just start thinking it gets a little bit jumping the shark. I think sometimes the characters could lack a bit of depth, and the story overall felt a bit reacting to the ideas instead of fully thinking them through. But like I said, I basically rewatch Grey's Anatomy nearly every year. So is that a criticism? Probably not. I do think I'll probably revisit this down the line. I would recommend watching it. It's a good cowboy vibe. It was definitely felt a bit unique to the TV scene. It's probably why I think it's done really well, is because it kind of revitalised that genre to an extent and kind of put it in a bit of a milestone, and obviously Paramount are pushing it to hell. So I would recommend watching it. Let me know what you thought down below. Did you like Beth or find her irritating? Did you sympathise with Jamie? Did you feel like it was a bit rushed at times? And is there anything else you'd have really wanted to see the show go for? I will be watching The Dutton Ranch, so I will be able to do a little bit of a review of my thoughts on the season 1. Watch the first couple of episodes, and you're going to have to come back to the channel and see what I thought of that when it's uploaded. Anyway, if you'd like some more TV reviews, please subscribe. Thanks, bye!